Hi, boys and girls. Miss Pickowitz here with reading today on Wednesday for your Independent Learning Day. So today for reading, we're just going to read a couple books for fun. Now I'm going to ask you a couple questions at the end of each one, and I want you to be able to tell them to your adult that's with you, your mom or dad, whomever's with you. We're going to be listening to be able to talk about characters and some key details and main events. And then I also want you to practice read to self for 1 minute. I shouldn't have to go over read to self. We've been going over it, but I'll remind you really quickly at the end what read to self should look like and sound like. But you know that Miss Pickowitz just loves to read books. I've said that. I love books. I love books. I have lots of books. I have lots of kids' books. I have lots of books for me. I just love books. And if I could just read all day, I would just read all day, but I can't do that because I have responsibilities. But part of my job, part of my responsibilities is that I get to read books to you. And so that makes me happy. You make me happy too. But when I get to read books to you, I'm really happy because I love to read. So I'm going to read 2 just fun books today. This one is called If You Ever Want to Bring a Piano to the Beach, Don't. And this one I read last year to my first graders at the end of the year. And I loved it. And it's called Grumpy Corn. It's so funny. So let's start with, if you ever want to bring a piano to the beach, don't. Well, I can already tell just by reading the title that does not sound like a good idea. Something I want to do. Because I know when I go to the beach, it's a long walk. And I have to carry a lot of things. I know that a piano is pretty heavy. I don't know if I want to carry a piano from my car to the beach. It's going to be a long walk. And it's going to be really hot because you go to the beach when it's hot outside. Anyways, let's read If You Ever Want to Bring a Piano to the Beach, Don't. And the author and the illustrator is the same person. So this person wrote all the words and drew all the pictures. That's Elise Parsley. Let's see what she says about bringing a piano to the beach. I can only imagine. If you ever want to bring a piano to the beach, don't. If your mom says to get ready to play at the beach, she means with a boat or a frisbee or a shovel. She is not talking about the piano. If you roll out the piano anyway, she'll tell you, you'd better not lose it. And you tell her that it's okay. You'll hold on tight to your piano and keep it neat and clean, and you'll even promise to push it to the beach yourself. Cross your heart. But on the way, your arms will get heavy. Then your legs will get draggy. So you'll find the perfect way to move the piano along. And it looks like at the beginning, she's trying and trying. And at the end, who's doing all the work? That would be Mom. When you feel rested, you will push again. Once you're at the beach, you'll need to make sure the piano still works. Finally, you'll stop for a lunch break. The seagulls will want to share your egg and cheese sandwich. This, you know, is not good for the piano, but you'll know just what to do. Bath time. that's a very good idea either. You'll splish, you'll splash. The piano will bob up and down and up and down and then up and away. Although I'm not sure how much up and down that piano will do, because if it's pretty heavy, it's probably going to sink. But this story is make-believe, because you couldn't really take a piano to the beach. And out of reach. There she is. Way over there. See her? Way back here. By now, of course, you'll wish you had played with a boat or a frisbee or a shovel at the beach instead of the piano. By now, you'll wish you had played with your baby sister instead of the piano. You'll be so mad, you'll just want to just go home. Well, here's what I would do if I were you. Borrow your brother's fishing line and cast it out far, far, far to catch your drifting piano. I don't know if a fishing line is strong enough to bring a piano back. Then you might reel the line back in. You might get your piano back. Or you might get... That's not a piano. A boat or a frisbee or a shovel. Yeah, if you ever want to bring a piano to the beach, don't. You might lose it. But you never know what you might find. And that's the end. So we had a few characters in that book, and I want you to be able to tell the adult who the characters were. At least two of them. And what happened, what was some of the main ideas in the story, some of the main events, what happened. What happened in the beginning, the middle, the end. And I'd have to say this book is probably that word we learned last week, fiction, which means it's not real. Because I don't think we'd ever get a piano on the beach. The sand and the water probably wouldn't be good for the piano. And if a piano got in the water, it wouldn't float. It would sink. But again, this story's not real. It's a pretend story, and that's okay. Lots of stories are pretend. This next one we're going to read is a pretend story too. So tell your adult who the characters are, name at least two, and then tell them some of the key details and main events that happened. And if you ever want to bring a piano to the beach, don't. Pause the video and do that. And then when you're ready, play the video again so you can hear one of my favorite books. And it's called Grumpy Corn. Grumpy Corn is written and illustrated. So the author and the illustrator are the same person. And that's Sarah McIntyre. She wrote all the words and she drew all the pictures. And this is a really colorful book, if you can't tell just by looking at the cover. So here's Grumpy Corn. Unicorn was sitting in his special writing house. I'm going to write the most fabulous story in the world, he thought. This made him feel very pleased with himself. He already liked being a writer. But Unicorn didn't know where to begin his story. I need my special fluffy pen, he said. He went and got his special fluffy pen. But he didn't know what to write. I need a cup of my special moonberry tea, he said. Then I'll be able to write my story. He went and made himself a cup of his special moonberry tea. And Unicorn sat down at his desk, wondering what to write in his special fancy notebook. He sighed. I wish an idea would just come knocking at my door. But Narwhal knocked instead. What are you doing, Unicorn? I'm busy writing the most fabulous story in the world, said Unicorn. Wow, said Narwhal. Can I be in your story? Don't be silly, said Unicorn. No one wants to read a story about a narwhal. Narwhals are very boring. There will be no narwhals in my story. Oh, said Narwhal, and he swam sadly away. You ask me, that wasn't very nice of Unicorn. Mermaid, guess what? Said Narwhal. Unicorn is writing the most fabulous story in the world. And Mermaid looked impressed. She swam off to visit Unicorn. Hello, Unicorn, she said. How is your story coming along? Very badly, said Unicorn. I'm waiting for my moment of genius. And I do not have any cookies. My genius will only come to me if I can get cookies. Mermaid had an idea. If I bake you cookies, can I be in your story? Unicorn thought for a moment. Maybe, but only if the cookies make me feel inspired. Mermaid swam back to her submarine to bake her famous starfish cookies. Narwhal helped. He loved licking the bowl. Mermaid brought the cookies to Unicorn. Now can I be in your story? She asked. Unicorn took a bite of the cookie and looked thoughtful. He ate the whole plate of cookies, and he kept looking thoughtful. No, said Unicorn. I'm afraid you can't be in my story. They were very good cookies, but they did not inspire me. Mermaid swam away in a huff. What's wrong, Mermaid? Asked Jellyfish. Unicorn is writing the most fabulous story in the world, she sniffed. But he won't let me be in it. My cookies were not inspiring enough. Maybe I'm in it, said Jellyfish. Everybody loves Jellyfish. And she wriggled with excitement and swam off to visit Unicorn. Hello, Unicorn, said Jellyfish. Have you finished your fabulous story yet? I can't wait to read it. Is there a jellyfish in it? Why don't you let me be in your story? I'll be the most brave jellyfish, and I'll go into space and discover fantastic alien jellyfish and... No! Howled Unicorn. And I can't get any ideas because everyone keeps bothering me. You're all very silly and annoying, and I don't want to write this story anymore. Oh, what a grumpy corn, said Jellyfish. Unicorn threw his fluffy pen, his notebook, and his teacup into the sea. They sank down and down and down and drifted on the ocean currents until... "Look," said Mermaid, "it's the most fabulous story in the world." "Yippee! Let's read it," said Narwhal. But the friends gathered around to read Unicorn's story. But Unicorn had not written one single word. "Poor Grumpycorn," said Mermaid. "I wish we could help." "I have an idea," said Narwhal. Once upon a time, a unicorn tried to write the most fabulous story in the world. Narwhal was writing on the special fabulous notebook. "He was visited by a world-famous baker," said Mermaid. "And the bravest jellyfish in the ocean," said Jellyfish. "And the cleverest narwhal in the whole universe," agreed Narwhal. A few hours later, Unicorn arrived, carrying a big flat box. "I tried to write a fabulous story," he said, "but I was not a fabulous friend. But I am fabulous at ordering pizza. I brought this to say I'm sorry." "That looks like very inspiring pizza," said Narwhal, "and you are just in time." To help us finish the most amazing, clever, fabulous, and funny story in the world. And that's the end. So I want you to be able to tell your adult, your mom, your dad, whomever's with you, some of the characters. There were 4. I'd like you to be able to tell them at least 2, but if you can say all 4, that's awesome. And I want you to be able to tell them what happened in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, and some of the key details, the important things that happened. I also want you to be able to tell them how Grumpycorn got his name, because he started off with the name Unicorn. Yep. And would this book be real or fake? If it is fake, then we call it fiction. If it's not fake, if it's real, then we call it nonfiction. But you should be able to tell your adult if it is fake or not fake. And then when you're all done listening to my 2 awesome stories, because I love to read, you can go practice read to self. Remember, read to self as you get started right away. You're reading the book the whole time, and you don't have to know the words to read the book. You can read the pictures. We've talked about 3 ways to read a book. So you get started right away. You read the whole time. You're in one spot, and you're quiet. Okay? And have your adult, your mom, your dad, whomever, time you for 1 minute. If you can do more than 1 minute, that is fabulous. But you should be able to sit still for at least 1 whole minute and only read the book quietly. Okay? So that's your assignment for today, is to practice read to self. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a fabulous day. Bye, friends.